So I came here alone, feeling heat and the world coming over me. Got a way of your own, but I told you that life ain't a fantasy. Now I watch you every day. Turn it up, it's just your way. Rocket fuel runs through your brain, like I told you on the train, that it's the only thing she knows. The only thing she knows. The only thing she knows. That it's the only thing she knows. She knows. So it started to rain.
Yeah.
A woman with eyes like a hurricane told us what it was. But she looked at the moon, wanted me to say,
I've been out on call. I didn't even see anything until I got home. I must have missed that. How you feeling, buddy? I'm gonna switch mics. Hold on. There you go. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Sorry we're late. Little stuff going on. Little stuff happening back here. We're here. We made it. How's it going? I'm just checking some emails, so I apologize about that.
Howdy, everyone. Hey, Jackie, Wilfredo, Norm.
Hello, Newman. Let me get over here for a second.
Steve, Richard Murph. Yes, Wilfredo, it's cold as hell here, too.
Oh, it's freezing. I don't like it.
It is.
I don't like it. Not one bit. Hate it.
Hurts my joints.
Ah, it's telling you. That's what happens. That's just getting older. That's not the cold.
But the cold makes it worse.
Oh, it does. And just as a side note, since Wilfredo is online, see?
Oh, there you go.
There you go. It came. so it's here. So what's happening, everybody? I know tonight we're without Eric tonight. Eric had a family situation he had to take care of. Everything's fine, but he just had to be at home with his family. But tonight we were planning on talking about the kind of same thing we were talking about on Wednesday night, but as opposed to a more entry level type of thing. I know Wednesday we opened it up with more of, we were talking about we were talking about like a 14-inch what were we talking about, plane waves and a whole bunch of craziness going on, but that's the all-in scope, right? So that's the all-in scope, deep sky. So I mean, yeah, it's going to cost you 30 grand to open the door. But that's the all-in. That is the best of the best. And then if you want to see more about that, go see. And if you want to see any of our prior shows, I got a couple of questions about this on Discord. It's not going to show up on the main video. When you go to see us on YouTube and the main page pops up, you're not going to see any of the live shows there. You actually got to go across the top, hit the live button, and that's where you see everything. So make sure you go to that.
The other shows.
There is 500 plus shows on there, and little snippets and stuff like that. So take a look at it. So I hope you guys and girls out there got a little bit out of it. I know I did. I thought the format was pretty decent. I got a lot of positive feedback from people that are avid watchers of the show and how they like it a little bit better. So we're going to continue on that trend. we had some help writing some of the script and stuff like that to kind of keep us on track, and I think it helped a lot. So that's where we're at. So tonight we're going to be talking about a little bit more of the entry level deep sky setup. But there's only three of us tonight. So Eric was the one that was going to do mounts. So basically, what we're going to do is, I guess, if you want to do the same thing we did on Wednesday, I guess I'll do camera. Scott
I'll
will
do
do
camera. You
scope.
do mounts.
Okay. Camera mounts and software, right? So whatever, that's fine. Yeah, you want to do mounts? Go ahead. It don't matter. It's easy. So mounts and Scott scope and me. I don't know. I'll decide whether it's software or whatever the other one left. so
You can be in charge of be the overlord of Off the Rails.
wow. There you go. Does the button work? Hold on. Let's see. Let's test the button. Hold on. There you go. Okay, so the button works. There you go. Awesome. So just in case we have it, and welcome back to the Off the Rails. We're gonna start adding some other stuff in the show too. We're gonna do. I'm gonna bring back that troubleshooting alley again. I think that was a cute little thing. I'm gonna find that video that I made and just bring that back up. But it's gonna be fun. I think we're gonna get back to what made us popular and a little bit more fun. And with that being said, why don't we get off on the all-in entry level beginner's rig for deep sky? And who wants to go first? Anyone? Bueller? Anybody? Wow, pin drop.
By the way, did you send something like you did last time?
It's the same thing. It's just from the beginner. You know, you could use the same exact type of formula for it. Just when you're talking about products, let's talk about things that people normally have in the house or stuff that they could get for relatively on the cheap, without sacrificing the wow kind of factor.
Well, I will say, as far as mounts go and everything, it is ideally most important. You're probably going to spend the most amount of money. But if you're looking to get something small, like a small setup where you're only going to be using like a camera lens and a DSLR or something like that, you can always get like a sky tracker.
Sure.
And there's plenty of great sky trackers out there from Ioptron, the Sky Guider Pro, stuff like that. You got the what's the Sky Watcher, the A's.
Well, you got it's not a sky tracker, but it's the ALEQ whatever 55.
Well, they have the ALQ 55, which is actually a little more of a heavy duty mount, but they have like a tracking mount with the
what is it?
The Skywatcher. How can I think of it? GTI.
Oh yeah, the GTI. Sure.
Yeah. So you have that as well. If you're going lightweight, camera and a lens.
Just remember, I think the AZ GTI head kit only has an 11-pound capacity.
Payload capacity, right?
And you want to pay closer. I'm sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
You're fine. But if you want something, if you want like a real telescope, a doublet or a triplet, that's 60, 80 millimeter.
Star Adventure, Dave. It's a Star Adventure.
Star Adventure, yeah.
All right, thank you, Newman.
But to get like a good, quality equatorial mount, there's the Skywatcher AL55i, and they only run about $900.
Yeah, I think it's $850 actually. It's not bad.
Yeah, $845 and change. I'm not sure what the capacity. I guess we can look that up real quick.
What's that?
The specs on it are
22-pound capacity, I think.
Yeah, 22 pounds. So it is ASCOM compatible. So you can run it via any of the software we talked about the other night.
Yep.
So, and all in all, it's something that's going to get you started. If you want to, kind of get something that you can grow up with, you can always, go a little, spend a little more and get like, Selextron, the VX mount, get one of those for about $1,200. And not for nothing, I mean, the AM3 harmonic mount, you can find those probably on eBay or something like that for $1,000, $1,200.
Yeah.
And that's the thing also is, don't necessarily feel like you have to go out and find something brand new, because there's a lot of stuff out there that's potentially used equipment on eBay or something like that. You could get, an EQ6R probably for $1,200 on eBay. And as long as if it works, and you're not going to find a better mount to start with, because then you can put up to 44 pounds on that. But I've seen a lot of good deals of stuff like that on eBay and everything like that. And most of the time when I look, one of the things I always look for is, the seller rating. If the seller's 98% rated, then you're probably going to get a piece of equipment that works and is actually a decent buy. But there's all kinds of stuff. The SEM26 for my Optron, $1,400. It only holds 26 pounds, but it's going to work really, really well. You're talking about a good quality piece of equipment. So the key with the mounts is to find something that is going to be a good quality piece of equipment that you're not going to have headaches with. Because the last thing you want to have headaches with is you want good tracking, good guidability, and good mechanics. There are certain, Skywatcher, Ioptron, there are a couple companies out there that excel when it comes to making mounts, and they're high quality and usually pretty good, and you're not going to have a lot of headaches. Granted, there is always a needle in the haystack. But a lot of those companies, you're going to have good support. Don't buy that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one happened, right? So. What else we got as far as mounts is concerned?
Well, you want one that's going to be ASCOM compatible, something you can control with via computer of some sort. So that way you can do auto guiding and everything like that. Easeability of setup. You want something that if you're going smaller rigs, something that you can travel with real easily. If you're looking for something that you're going to just put in your backyard and use it there, you can go a little heavier. You can spend a little extra money, get a big, nice, heavy-duty mount, something like that. But as far as you want something that is obviously a quality brand with good background and the ability to track and guide very well. That's pretty much what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I'm just to your point, I mean, a couple of things that as far as weight is concerned. Now, if you think you're gonna do a little bit more than just the beginner stuff, and you want something to grow with, like Dave said, you might want to get something a little bit more. And don't forget, a lot of people sit there and they especially when you're getting into it, right? Let me switch this. Especially when you're getting into it, there, when you talk about payload, a lot of people forget to add in the entire rig. It's not just the telescope, okay? It's the telescope,
Yep.
all the accessories, all the bars, all the wires, everything. So you want to add all that stuff together because it's really important to make sure, especially when you're dealing with a star tracker like Dave was talking about before, um, that you're going to want to pay closer attention to those because those are made with gears that are not like the ones we were talking about on Wednesday night, where we're talking about harmonic drives that's able to torque a lot more and hold a lot more weight more stably. These are
Right.
made with more like worm gears where teeth kind of go into each other, or belts where they go around and pull the gear. So if you overload your mount, the belt may slip, the teeth may break, all these things that could happen. So you really want to pay close attention to your entire weight of your entire setup, not just one or two pieces. Get a spreadsheet, add it up, put it down on a list. I know some of the crazy astronomers like myself out there have a spreadsheet for every single rig that you have, and how much it weighs, and what every single telescope weighs, and what every single accessory weighs, and just adding stuff together. So there's a lot of stuff out there. I know I think Matt Draxler, I think, has a really good spreadsheet on doing that. If I remember right. And for those of you that are wondering, there was a question in the chat in YouTube about, do a lot of people start with Dobbs? So I started a poll. So let's take, you got a poll running. Tell us what you started at as an astronomer. And then what
Visual, I started with a newt.
I'll put a newt down.
I did.
So I didn't put binoculars. It only allows me to put 4 on there. So I picked 4 telescopes. So
and you just remember also that weight capacity is obviously pretty important with some mounts more than others. I can verify, my EQ6, it says 44 pounds. And they usually tell you, oh, don't exceed like 75% of the weight capacity.
Yep.
Well, I guarantee you.
Yeah, I found that out the hard way.
I've got every bit of 40 pounds on my EQ6, and it guides incredible. In fact, it does better weighted down with that 40 pounds than it does with my GT80, which is probably 30.
10.
No, the GT81 with all the accessories and
with everything, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably close to 25, I'd say.
Yeah.
And it doesn't guide as well with that as it does with the 127 and everything else on that thing. It guides so much better with more weight. I don't know why, but it just is what it is. So, and the key is also when you're getting close to that limit and that capacity of your mount, how important it is to make sure it is balanced and perfect as possible, because then that takes a lot of the stress off those gears and belts and everything like that, where it really doesn't feel like it has to do that much. So that's the other.
And another
balancing your mount is very important.
Another thing, when you're getting into the telescopes, sometimes you may come across, if you're so inclined to be spending a little bit more money, you may come across something called a fork mount. They're slowly going away, but there's still some used ones out there. Just know, we're talking astrophotography. We're not talking visually.
Right.
When you get into fork mounts or one-armed mounts, one fork mounts even, as opposed to the blue one, the 2, Celestron has the 1. Actually, Celestron has the CPC, which has the 2. It looks like a big frisbee on the bottom. Just know that if you're doing astrophotography, sooner or later you're going to start to buy other things like a wedge.
Yeah, you need a wedge so you can tilt it to get to that.
Right.
equatorial.
Or buy another mount, and the Celestrons come with a Vixen dovetail on them. Some of them come with a bigger dovetail. But you're able to kind of transplant the mount and put the OTA on a different mount, which would help you out. Hi, ICXT. How's it going? Is it me or did the chat get quiet all of a sudden?
Chat got quiet.
Did the chat get quiet? Do I have to refresh my screen? Is that what it is? Or did everybody just stop typing? Nope, everybody just stopped typing.
Everybody's so enthralled with me talking today.
Maybe that could be. That could be. Definitely wasn't my Motley Crue T-shirt from 2014. But
That's when he rode the drums upside down.
No, that was this. That was the Dr. Feelgood tour. That was like 2008, 7, 6.
Okay.
Maybe even earlier. It was a long time ago. That he had the cage and he's rolling out the stage. I was at that concert. But anyway, hold on a second. All right, getting back into it. Why don't we get Dave? Do you have anything left on the mounts and what you should kind of pay attention to? Scott, you want to interject?
The only thing you need to pay attention to, depending on what you want to do, is weight capacity and check your reviews. Don't just buy the newest, coolest thing because you saw it on YouTube or TikTok and somebody's going, don't check what other people are saying about it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get good information from the other people in the community, people that actually have owned these mounts, that they're going to know, yeah, this is the one you want.
And do yourself a favor, right? We talk about this a lot. Go to your local astronomy club, or get something going on.
That definitely makes a difference too.
There's a lot of people that have navigated these bumps before that may be in your local town. So just go there and take a look, and go to a meeting and ask some questions. And what they say. The only dumb question is the one that's not asked, right? So.
Yeah, and you know what? You might bump into somebody in your astronomy club and says, "Well, I got this old EQ6. I don't use it anymore. I'm willing to sell it."
Here you go, 500.
Yeah. So, and you're gold.
Yeah. So definitely.
Or like an old Atlas, like you had. You had that old Atlas.
Oh, I love that thing.
That would have been. That's another one. Yeah.
But and don't be afraid to go to used telescope sites. Used telescope places like Cloudy Nights, AstroMart. Those those places will have deals on trackers and mounts and stuff like that. That is, I have never had a problem buying anything from them as far as being screwed or scammed or anything like that. I've never had a problem.
And you got to remember, a lot of times those are people that have upgraded.
Yep.
And they just have old stuff sitting around and they don't want to use it anymore. So they're not trying to make a buck off it. They're trying to get rid of them, get them out of their house.
Exactly. So the wife doesn't yell at them anymore.
Exactly.
Get your crap out of my house. But
exactly.
Scott, you got anything on mounts for us? You're pretty quiet over there. I think you're stroking the beard, and that's about it.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're good.
Yeah, we could.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I was coming through or not. I was trying to talk, but it just didn't seem like it was working.
No, now it is
loud and clear.
Yeah, I made the mistake early on, and when I bought my rig, I bought the kit from Celestron. So the 14 came with the CGXL,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't even think they offer that anymore. I was just looking on the Celestron site, and the kits, I don't see the 14 offered in a kit anymore. And it may be because of the problem that I had with the CGXL. It has a payload capacity of 75 pounds with the weight. and I very quickly went beyond that. My rig, right now I think is at 82 pounds. And the CGXL, even though it's a halfway decent mount, it is just no way it could not handle all that weight, and so I had to upgrade. Don't fall into the trap of buying pre-built kits, that say they're going to do one thing, but then you start adding weight to it, and you find out real quickly that you're in the weeds. So
yeah, I think a lot of times they sell those kits for people that are going to use it for visual.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't know why you would buy a 14-inch telescope, a Schmidt, a 14, and use it strictly for visual. It doesn't make sense to me.
I know. I actually have a lot of friends that have 14s and some 16s, old Meads, that really only use it for visual. Period. You got to remember that these things are observatory class scopes, right? The 14, the 16, and bigger.
Yep.
Sometimes depending on your observatory, sometimes depending on your outreach, sometimes depending on your preference, you want to just do visual. And if I had skies, if I was in Bortle 5, Bortle 4 skies, and I had a C14 and I had another scope to do, I like to do my imaging. Don't get me wrong. I'm the same way like you, Scott. But if I had a C14 or just give you a perfect example, I could do imaging with my Dob. I have the Stella Cat.
Yeah.
I got all the stuff going on. I'll have some rotation issues, but I could get like a tracking platform if I wanted to. But there's something to be said about visual observing because you're actually seeing that light from thousands of years ago.
Yeah, and because
At
of the
that focal
reach of
length.
those, the reach of those scopes, you can look at through a lens and go, wow, holy.
Yeah. I mean, when I saw my first ARP Galaxy visually from Cherry Springs Star Party with my 18-inch Dob, I was floored.
Yeah.
I was floored, not expecting to see this thing at all. And I got verification from somebody from the Astronomical League who happened to be there. I said, this is not going to be the hole in one nobody ever saw you make, so I got verification, and I was floored. But to your point, Scott, I mean, most of the people here, a lot of the people here in the chat are astrophotographers. And I could definitely see you saying, why would you get a 14, not use it for astrophotography and use it for visual only?
Right.
Most of us probably wouldn't.
I mean, it's a great visual scope. Don't get me wrong, but to not utilize it for with a camera, that doesn't make sense to me. Why you would not? I mean, you're gonna spend how much? How much does a good set of eyepieces cost? A good set, not a piece of crap set.
I mean, if you get all ethos, Teleview ethos lenses, that's still not even enough to fill the void. So I mean, you could spend on an eyepiece set 7 to 10.
7 to 10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes
exactly.
You're talking $400 or $500 for one.
No, you're talking $683 for the cheapest ethos, up to $1,200 for the 21, I think it is. So I mean, you and they only make 5 of them, so it doesn't give you the range that you need. You'll need you'll need planetary eyepieces. You'll need other stuff as well.
Yeah, but there are some other eyepieces out there that are still good quality.
I mean, I like
$300 easily.
I like the Explorer Scientific 82s, the nitrogen plugs. Vader makes good ones. Pentax makes good ones. I mean, there are a lot of stuff out there, but you could spend a lot of money on eyepieces. You can spend a lot of money. But
and that's my point, is that you get all that money wrapped up in eyepieces, and you won't spend $2,000 on a good camera.
It all depends. It all depends on your preference. It really depends on your preference.
Yeah, because there are a lot of people out there still that are
strictly visual.
Strictly visual.
Yep.
And they love that. And
yep.
That's
sketches.
That's their niche.
There's still sketches out there that do sketching with a white pencil and black paper.
Oh
You know, so there are people that do that stuff. I don't do that stuff. I'm lucky I could draw a stick figure.
I can't draw.
But I'll show you some. If you're really curious and you want to see some of my sketches, I still have some of my astronomer's journal. But you know, there's nothing to be nice at. Actually, going back to mounts, Steve said he has a CGXL, it's rock solid, and 11-inch, and all of the junk, and the piggyback. So yeah, I mean, you know, 11-inch. I mean, I know a lot of people with CGXLs, and you know, again, you either love them or
Great
hate
for
them.
an 11.
Yeah, 14 might be a little bit much. We definitely had that problem. Me and Scott were working on that for the better part of a year, if I remember. And it just wasn't working well for astrophotography. It wasn't for the 14 and the piggyback and all the extra stuff that he had on there. It was just not enough, and he needed a 100-pound, 110-pound mount in order to do it. So Stellar View has another good eyepiece. Thanks, Rich.
Yeah.
And Rich, you made a really good point right before Steve. The tendency at first is to do a little cheap on the mount, buy a mount for the future. And
for sure. I agree with that.
100%. The mount is like the unsung hero for the people that don't know. You know, it's like people always buy the scope for the mount, where they should be buying the mount for the scopes they're gonna get. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It does.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly right.
I was on a roll for a little bit. Sorry, I just babbled.
That's fine. And you know, it's like I said, like Richard said. I mean, you know, the first when I bought that EQ6R knowing that it can handle pretty much anything I'm going to put on it, unless I went really big. But I was like, I'm not going really big, so it's going to handle anything I put on it. For nothing. The thing's bulletproof. It's lasted forever. It's easy to service. I can service it myself. You know, I've never had an issue.
Yeah. No.
Knock on wood. And I've had it for now 5 years. And it sits outside in the weather
all day, all night.
All day, all night. I'm not hauling that thing in and out.
Gotcha.
And it kicks ass.
Yeah, it's like the mount that I use. You know, you look at that thing, the blowouts on it. There isn't a single piece of plastic on that mount.
Yeah,
it is. Everything is billet aluminum. Everything, except for maybe the circuit boards. You know, but you know, anything mechanical, it's nothing but solid billet aluminum and steel. Yeah, you know. It's you're never gonna have to worry about that.
And like that's one of the things. I mean, the serviceability of the EQ6 is so nice. It's like so easy to disassemble, re-grease everything, put it back together, and start it up. Get rid of it. You know, tune the backlash, and start up. Works there.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot to be said for, you know, buying something of quality, you know, resisting the urge to buy, you know, lesser quality because you need it now.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
Save your pennies and buy a good solid mount, you know.
Yeah, it was one of those things too for me when the EQ6, it was like back ordered, and all of a sudden out of the blue, I saw in stock. I'm like, I bought it. I was like, nice. I'm not waiting. I'm like, I've been waiting. I don't know how long. Finally, it's in stock. I'm gonna get it while it's good, while they have it.
Yep. Yeah, solid mounts. Yeah.
Speaking of
and
which,
don't get me wrong, I wasn't disparaging the CGXL. It just you know, got to a point where the amount of payload that I had, it exceeded, you know, by a lot.
Exactly.
That amount. I mean, it went above the 100%.
Yeah.
You know, we were in the 120% range. You know, and that's
And
just
I'll say, not for nothing, Celestron is more known for their
OTAs. Yep.
than they are for their mounts.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta say, I mean, I don't think I've
Wonky mount.
I don't think I've ever, to be dead honest, even when I was working in camera concepts before I opened up AstroWorldTelescopes, I don't think I ever, I hate to say it if anybody who's watching and who's big Celestron fans, I don't think I ever recommended a Celestron mount to any astrophotographer out there. I don't think I have.
Yep.
I don't
But
think
their
I have.
OTAs, however,
Oh,
for
the
sure.
Edge, even the
I mean,
XLTs.
the Edge, yeah.
Yep.
You know, the OTAs are fine. There's nothing wrong with it. They're beautiful. They're great machines. The Rosses, I mean, they're great.
Yeah.
You know, but they just spend. I think they spend a lot of their R&D more in the tube than they do the mount. Where I think there's an area there for them to get better and
Step up the
improve.
game.
Yeah, in their mount situations. So that's my thoughts.
Well, I mean, you know, you look at can I share?
No.
Toggle screen sharing.
Oh yeah, you can. Yes, you can. I can.
You look at something like this.
You're not screen sharing yet. There you are. Hold on a second. Yeah, that's the Origin, sure.
Right?
New one.
And you look at that price tag, right?
Oh yeah.
That's what, a 6-inch scope? It's a 6-inch like Rasa type.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 6-inch Rasa f2. Yep.
Yeah. So you look at that and you look at that price tag, and you can very quickly get into you know, no, I didn't. How do I stop sharing?
You got to click the button again.
Oh, there we go.
There
I'm
you go.
so used to Zoom.
Yeah, it's okay.
You can very quickly get into, you know, an 8-inch edge, you know, and a harmonic drive mount and a melee, you know, couple of power boxes, and you're going to be close to that price.
Yeah.
What sensor do they use in that?
I thought it was a 662, but I don't know about the Mark II that's coming out. That's not yet. So I think it's a
That's like the
662.
granddaddy of all smart scopes.
But it's small. It's
Yeah,
a small set.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, that's my point about, you know, with, I can see the allure, you know, of oh, I can get everything I need in one purchase. Yeah.
And,
You know,
but
you
see,
can get a
also you
whole
gotta
heck of
look
a
at
lot
that.
more.
It's an all TAS mount.
Yeah.
So
And you can get a wedge for it.
Yeah, you can get. There's a wedge for it.
Do they make a wedge for it?
But
Yeah, they have a wedge for it.
But you don't forget the fact that you're also shooting at f2. So
Yeah, I understand.
you could definitely take shorter exposures quicker.
Yep.
You know, at 30 seconds at f2, as opposed to 30 seconds at f10.
Right.
With on an alt as mounts are completely different. You're going to get completely different results. So.
Well, I mean, you know, you look at the edge, the Rasa at 8-inch, you know, and a harmonic drive mount. You know, you might wind up spending a little bit more, but probably not a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah, but I think, you know, I hate to say it. I think we're getting out of the realm of beginner setups, though.
Oh yeah.
I think we're flashing back to Wednesday. So why don't we get back to
that one that I was talking about, that Origin, that Mark II, that to me, that is a beginner setup. Do you disagree?
A little bit.
Yeah,
You
no,
think
if
so?
you're going to get a smart
Yeah.
scope, beginner setup's going to be a dwarf or
Yeah, $300,
you know,
$400
or the
thing, not
ZWO
4,300.
or
I'm not talking about the
uh,
price tag. I'm talking about the ease of use.
well, you're still looking at the dwarf mini or
Yeah, I mean the
like
Dwarf
that.
Mini or a
It's
C
so
Star or
easy to
something like
use.
that it would
Z
be so much
Star is
more
so easy.
easier. Not that it's easier. Let me rephrase. Most people, and this isn't everybody. Most people that are just these are beginner setups. Most people aren't going to jump into a $4,300 scope. You know, they're just not. They're going to try and do something beforehand. Most people, you know, some people will. Some people will say, "Nah, I don't want it. I want the best thing, and I want it now, and I want it to work." And some people are like that, but most people are very unsure if they want to, if they're gonna like it, if they and not willing to make that investment yet. Um,
Yep.
I don't think that if we're thinking about the regular kind of person that's just getting into it, maybe 21, 22, 23 years old. I'm getting into it now, and you know let me get something that I could kind of play with and see if I like doing it. And if I don't like doing it, it's not that big of an investment. I don't have to sell it, you know. Um, let's see, but no, you can't look through it, Rich. Not that one. You can't look through it. There's
The
no
rust.
eyepiece. You know, that's why you would get something like the Edu Snap that I was showing the other night that you can look through. It does have a flip mirror and it costs, I think, $500. So I'm still looking to play with it. I know Wilfredo's been playing with it a little bit. He got to it a lot more than me. We have real crappy weather in New York too. We've had a couple of clear nights, but I've been sick too and moving, so I really haven't had a chance to do anything.
who makes that scope?
That's Spectrum Optics.
Okay, something new on the market.
Well, that scope is they had 4 booths at NEAF last year. They had a big setup. They had 3 new harmonic drives. The Mirror Sky was the mount that they had that they were showing. But okay, lucky if yeah. So yeah. So what about other telescopes, Scott? For just beginner's guy, kind of sub even
A
800
Dob.
for visual. Sure, yeah, absolutely a Dob, right?
That's if you're looking for a great way to start out, you're talking about something that you can get, you can get a crazy big mirror in comparison to a refractor, and it's relatively cheap. You can get a nice Dob for, probably
Eight
a,
hundred
a,
bucks.
10, a 10 or a 12-inch Dob for,
About
what,
eight
a
hundred
couple
bucks.
$1,000.
No less,
Oh,
800
less.
bucks.
800 bucks. Get
There
like
you
a
go.
12-inch job.
Yeah, so they
Yeah.
sell right now. I believe it's the 8-inch Smart Sense Dob from Celestron, which actually helps you with the when you
Find
put
your
your
targets.
when
Yeah.
you put your phone in there, it's got a mirror where
Yep.
the mirror actually reflects the starlight into the camera phone,
Yep.
and it will start
Helps
to
you
plate
place all
solve
it.
for you and find out where you're pointing. And then you go on the app. I want to see Jupiter. Boom, and it's going to show you arrows as you move the scope. And
Yeah.
you sit there and you get closer to the arrows, and you get red, yellow, green, and
Yeah.
$850 for that. It's not
Yep.
bad.
And
They sell.
that's an 8-inch,
Yeah.
which is for a Dob. That's a pretty big light bulb.
Yeah, they have 10
You're
inches
gonna,
too.
you're gonna see really good images.
But yeah, Scott, you're right. The Dob, as far as the biggest bang for the buck, when you're getting into it, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. The other thing is a good set of astronomical binoculars, big ones.
So what's big? Like how big?
Oh God, 150 by 80.
Wow, those are big ones.
Yeah. Big.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
150 by 80.
You'll be able to see Orion with those.
Yep.
You know, provided you can
But
hold them
you can,
steady. But the key
yeah,
is
well,
you
put them on a
put 'em
tripod.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you could probably even get that with the right. I'm sure somebody does a connectivity with it that you could put them on some kind of a star tracker, or even just an equatorial, a
Oh,
go-to
sure you could. Yeah.
for
Right.
visual. Yeah. I mean, binoculars are nice. That's one of the things. If I was ever to do a visual with my 14, I would want a binocular, setup.
A bino viewer. Yeah.
A bino viewer. Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
That's like the big telescope that they've got in Italy, that the Catholic Church has. It's a binocular telescope.
Yeah, who was that?
With
Who was that company at Neath that had the bino viewers?
Well, there was a couple of them that had bino viewers.
But there was one there, and they were like, "Oh my god!" And they were not cheap.
Denkmeyer, was it?
No, it was. They were right down from us, like next to. I want to say they were right next to Prima Luce.
I don't know. No, next to Prima. I don't know.
I can't remember, but anyway, it was. These things were beautiful, but they were expensive. Oh.
and you got to buy double eyepieces. So
right. Yeah. But a good. I would say that most observatory, or not observatory, observation, astronomy, where you're just observing the sky.
Overwork.
A lot of stuff is done with binoculars.
Yeah.
Yep. People just grab a set of 10 by 50s. Look at the moon.
Yep.
Don't look at the sun. Okay. No. Don't do that.
Nope.
But look at the moon, and put it on a tripod and see if you can find Andromeda. You see Andromeda through a set of 10 by 50s on a stable tripod for the first time. That's pretty cool.
100%.
Yeah.
I think, Dave, you were thinking of Oberwerk.
Oberwerk?
Yeah. Oberwerk. I think they're a German company, if I remember right. Somebody said that on the chat.
I think that's
they were definitely
somebody
there.
else. It was somebody else. I'll think of it.
Okay. But yeah. So what about imaging, Scott? What about imaging for a starters kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, the obvious choice, in imaging, if you're going to start out, is with a refractor. A small refractor and a compatible camera that you can go right to the software. There's websites that you put your telescope in. You decide the kind of you want a red cat. Say you got a red cat 71. And you want to optimize the camera for that particular scope. You can go to what's the name of the website that allows you to match
astronomy.tools.
Astronomy.tools. Yep. And it'll match the camera. And then, all you need then is just a Melee mini computer, and you're off to the races. You get yourself a nice color camera. You don't need a lot of filters, with a color camera. Maybe you get a nebula booster, maybe you get a light pollution filter, and you're off to the races. You're doing some nebula shots. You're taking pictures of Orion. You're taking pictures of Andromeda. You're taking pictures of other large nebula that are in the Sagittarius arm, and that can get you the hook that you need, to find out if you really want to do it. And you can do it. I mean, maybe not a 71. A Red Cat 71 is kind of expensive.
Yeah.
But you can get the 51.
Well, don't even forget. Don't go. SV Boney.
Yeah, exactly.
They have some really good low cost scopes. I mean, just take a look at the Ben from the Narrowband channels. You know what he did. He did a lot of work with SV Bony scopes, and
Yep.
they were great. They're still good. You know, don't forget that, and they're a lot more price pointed for the beginner.
Yeah. As long as the optics are good, you know, you got good glass in there, the
Yep.
coatings are good, you know, it's kind of like with the same thing with like camera lenses. You know, you can buy the straight Nikon lenses, or you can, you know, you can go to a Tamron, you know, and you can get a similar kind of lens from Tamron for half the money. You know, but it all depends on what you want to do, you know, and the kind of budget that you're talking about. If you've only got $1,000 to spend on this, I would stay with a smart telescope, because you're gonna wind up in the weeds fast. You're gonna be disappointed. Stay with a smart telescope. Find out if you really want to commit.
Yeah. Well,
Now, if you've got 5,000 to spend, now you're playing with some, you know, some options. Now you're talking harmonic drive. Now you're talking about a decent OTA. You know, a good camera to match. You know, and a mini computer, maybe a couple of filters. You can do that for $5,000.
But Mitch made a good point. What about a DSLR on a mount for a newbie? Absolutely.
Yeah.
You could definitely do that.
You know, sure. The only downside, and I don't have any problem with DSLR. DSLR works fine. The problem that you got with DSLR is that it is not cooled. And the thing is that, you know, like with my I've got the D850s, right? I don't want to burn up my sensor running at 5 minutes.
But
You know what I mean?
But again, for a newbie, if you have a camera out there that, you know, that works for you, you know, there's nothing stopping you from taking 1 or 2 minute shots,
Right.
you know, whatever you want on a tracker, like we were talking
Yep.
about, like either the Star Adventure or the SG Pro from my Optron, the Cube from my Optron, which is a nice, decent one, very small and compact. There are a couple other ones out there. Forgetting the other one that we were talking about, but yeah, you could definitely do that. There's nothing. Just remember that you're probably going to be more wider field, right? So you know most people have telescope lenses. If you're just dragging out from you, unless you're a professional photographer, kind of, your average is 250 max on a focal length on a lens. So that's one thing. Most people don't have 600 millimeter lenses, you know, zoom lenses. Some do, but most don't. They usually have the stock lens, which is about 55 millimeters or something like that, or less. And those are going to be super wide fields. So just keep that if you keep that in mind of what you're getting, and you want to get nice, grandiose Milky Way shots. That's your thing right there. Something that wide is what you're looking at. You'll be able to get Andromeda Galaxy and you know, the Great Perseus cluster. You'll be able to get the Wild Duck cluster and the Beehive. You know, you'll be able to get some nebula that'll be very small. You know, the Lagoon, stuff like that. The bright ones, M42.
right.
You'll be able to get those.
And you're gonna be at 600 millimeter. You're gonna be in a telescope anyway. You don't want to spend the money for an 11 element 600 millimeter camera lens. It's just you don't want to do that.
Yeah,
that's a $12,000 lens.
Yeah, that's not good. Unless you have it already, don't go. You know.
Yeah.
Just do yourself a buy yourself a nice, you know, 4-inch refractor and have a day. But,
Yeah.
Exactly. Airy Disc was the company I was thinking of.
Oh, Airy Disc, sure. Yeah. We were looking at getting into them too, and we never pulled the trigger for some reason.
So they have a 204 millimeter Bino F7
Okay.
triplet.
There you go.
It's $33,000.
Woo! Nice. Nice.
It's a BMW.
There you go. A cheap BMW.
Used.
They do make a 152. They're $7,000.
Okay.
and it's only a doublet. The 204 is a triplet.
Yes, Steve was like, I am not putting my 600 or 800 prime or extended Astro. I'm not doing it. Yeah, no, absolutely not. I would not be doing that.
No. My limit is a 300 millimeter prime, so I won't go any bigger. For one thing, the lens is just too damn heavy.
Yeah,
a 600 millimeter lens prime 11 element. Oh my god, that lens is a tank.
I know you would, Jackie. You got like 150 lenses in the back of your room you got over there. I know you. She's a maniac with camera lenses.
Who, Jackie?
Jackie.
Yeah,
it's easy to do. I've got more in camera lenses, more in cameras and in camera lenses, money wise, than I do in my telescope, and that's a lot.
Yeah. So going back to but believe it or not, that's actually shocking to me. We did a poll 44 minutes ago. We have 26 votes, which means almost everybody voted. I think the only one that didn't vote maybe was me because I'm logged in and I can't.
I didn't even know we were voting.
Good job.
I guess Scotty didn't vote either.
No.
So we'll end the poll and we'll put it up there. And it looks like I thought Schmidt Cassegrain was going to win because a lot of people buy Schmidt's to start, not thinking that they're doing anything because it's the most versatile thing that you could probably do.
Yeah, but you could buy a cheap Newtonian like I did just for visual.
Yep.
That's how and it was a cheap Newtonian, 4-inch.
Yeah, I did the same thing many years ago.
I mean, my first thing was believe it or not a 3-inch Meade refractor that I pointed out a window, and
the girl storm, right?
Well, I didn't say I was looking at stars.
The girl storm.
But I slowly went away from that, and then my second one was a Newt. It was like a 130, if I remember right. And then I went from there to, I said, the hell with this. I bought my, saved some money, and I bought my LX200 GPS scope, the 8-inch. And that's the one that I started getting more serious into my Astro. So.
Yeah, the first telescope I owned was a 4-inch Newt.
Yep. I wish I still had my first scope. I don't have my first scope.
No, I gave mine to a youth group.
Yeah. I mean, I actually no. I had a scope before that. I had an 8-inch classic C8. I had.
Oh
yeah.
With the plug in the bottom.
I remember those.
I had the plug in the bottom, and I bought it, and I was like, "Oh, this thing is awesome!" I thought, in my mind, I thought tracking was go-to, I guess, and it's not. so go-to did not exist as of yet. So I was a man beyond my time, apparently. So I was like, "Oh, I gotta find it, and then I gotta plug it in to start the motors."
Yikes.
So, yeah, that really quickly entered into the closet of death, the original closet of death, and then I ended up selling that or something. But
gives you a real appreciation for what Edwin Hubble did with that 200-inch Mount Palomar.
Oh yeah, but his was set up every night. He didn't have to do anything. All he had to do is move some wheels and levers and stuff
manually
like that.
track, all night long.
That's okay.
Manually tracking,
that's okay.
X and Y.
I did that for about 3 days. I tried to manual track with an illuminated reticle eyepiece.
Oh my god, we don't realize how good we've got it.
Oh, screw that. But anyway, let's get back to the last part of the show, I guess, and that's going to be, we spoke about DSLRs, which is good for a beginner, right?
we could also talk about, entry-level cooled cameras or even planetary cameras to start if you want to save a couple of bucks. So
And they've come down a lot in price lately.
yeah, I mean, you can get a planetary
over the last
camera.
10 years.
Yeah, you get a planetary camera. It's a small sensor and stuff like that, but you get a planetary camera for $170.
Right.
And it's not cooled, it's not everything, but you could use that later on, right? This is why I tell people to come to me. You can use that later on when you really get into it and start talking about guiding and and better mounts. You could take that little planetary camera and use that as your guide camera for a little bit.
Yep.
And use that, and then buy your nice entry level cooled Astro camera like a 585, whether that's the ASI 585 or the Uranus C from Player One or the 585 from Altair Astro. It's a nice entry level camera, somewhere between, depending on where you buy it from, anywhere from $600 to $800. And it's
very reasonable.
It's a cooled camera.
Yep.
And I think the 585 is only 14-bit instead of 16, but you're a beginner. It doesn't matter. So you get a little bit less shades of color than you do a 16-bit camera. So what? You're going to love it. You're not going to know the damn difference. It's definitely.
Always go mono too.
You could go mono too, and you know what? With mono, they do sell 585 monos as well. But just remember, you're getting into another lane here, so it's another way to go. So you got to get
it. However, the 584 you can put smaller filters, which are much less expensive.
Sure, yeah, you can get like a 36 millimeter set and throw that in there, and just use that for your wide field setup and be done with it. Throw it on the back of the SV Boney 80. Put it on an EQ, what is it, ALEQ 55.
Yeah.
And you're in for under probably somewhere between 2,500 and $3,000 if you use the color. Not even.
Yeah.
And that would be your, a nice beginner kind of setup without going crazy all in, spending $2,500 on a mount as opposed to $2,500 on a complete setup, And again, that's a number I'm throwing out there. Don't quote me on that, but I mean that's about what it would cost. Yeah, the QHA 585, and don't forget the mini cams, right? The QHY mini cams.
Oh, QHY mini cams are great.
Which are on their way, finally, thank God. After waiting a year, they're on their way. I got the Deep Sky combo coming and the regular.
That's a 585 sensor, right?
It's a 585 sensor, yeah.
Yeah, and what a deal those are.
Yep, it comes with the
filters, everything, all
and
you
there's
need.
an SHO set too. It's a 7-nanometer SHO set. And it comes with the filter wheel, the camera, and the filters.
All in one.
All in one for about $1,000.
Yeah, and if you really want to dive deep, you get the extra filter set that is like for scientific filter. Got an N2 and
you get that.
Infrared and all these other filters that are, and they're not that expensive.
Yeah, but Mitch is like, yeah, they're so-so. They are so-so, but it's a good starting kind of thing. If you want an all-in-one package with everything.
They are. I remember when ZWO had the GT series cameras.
Yep.
They had a 183 and they had the 1600.
Yep.
GTs that came with the filter wheel and all the filters and everything.
Yep. And you're right. Who said that? The 3-nanometer. Yeah, Steve. Yeah, the 3-nanometer is out also as well as the scientific. There's like a bunch of different models out now. The regular base model, I think, is a 7-nanometer.
7, I think you're right.
And then they do have the 3s. I believe I have 2 of the 3 nanometers coming and 1 of the 7. I remember. I'll have to take a look at that and see. But
are those the filter sets, or they come with the camera?
It's with the camera.
So you just order it with the
camera.
Just
order it as a package with the 3-nanometer set.
Yeah. That's a great thing.
Yep.
And QHY is good camera.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do something like that, it just my opinion, but I would invest in the good harmonic mount, this one of the Skywatcher mounts, or something like that. Put the bulk of your money into the mount, because you're going to be able to do so much with that mount. You can get a better OTA, you can get better filters down the line, this and that. You start off with a good mount, you can build from that base.
Yep.
But you go the other way, you're going to wind up having to get a better mount anyway. So you might as well start with the mount.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with more, Scott. The mount is definitely, like I said at the beginning, it's the unsung hero that when you don't know. If you don't know, you don't understand how important a good mount is, because
Yep.
you think that, oh, don't worry, I have a great telescope. I'm going to put it on something like this, and I'm going to get a good result. It's not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen. And again, I'm blowing it way out of proportion, but no one, I don't think anybody
But the thing
would do
is,
that,
if you have a good mount, you have a mediocre telescope, say, if you buy even a doublet, if it's got good coatings on its glass, you have a mono camera, and you have decent filters, it's not going to matter.
No, I agree.
The mount's going to make those pictures amazing.
Yep,
that's right.
Because you're going to be able to.
And the reverse is true too. You could have the best optics. You could run Takahashi. You could run, $10,000 in optics and cameras and filters and this and that, and you put it on a piece of shit mount. I mean, what the hell? It doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter. But the flip side, like my RST 300, I could take that 14 off of that. I could put a Red Cat 51 on it if I wanted. Now it looked kind of silly, but I could do that. I can put, there isn't under a 14-inch, there is not a telescope they make right now that freaking mount can handle. Nothing. I don't think there's a single telescope under a 14-inch Schmidt that thing can't handle.
Probably not.
Except maybe some of the real big refractors.
Although probably the
CDK 24 or something.
No, he said under a 14, but
under a 14.
Under 14.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
but I would tell you probably the ODK 12. I don't know, bro. That's
that's carbon fiber though.
Yeah, but it's a beast. All the hardware is freaking, it's like iron. It's like crazy. Yeah. It's so heavy.
What does it weigh?
I'd have to look. It's heavy.
But the point is that there isn't probably 99% of the scopes out there under a 14-inch I could use on that mount. So that's the thing about buying a good mount, is that you can change out your OTAs. You can change out your image train and OTA systems, and just use that mount for different OTA setups.
Good point. Actually, Mitchell Duke was talking about, I guess he asked why harmonic. Well, in my opinion, there's a couple of things. Buying a harmonic. Number one, they've come down in price. So, I mean, if you take just for example, the Wave 100, which is when it was on sale, I don't know if it's on sale anymore, for $16.95. For a harmonic mount that weighs what it weighs, to have the payload that it has, it's just easier to travel around with. Now, if you're in a standstill position where you put it on either wheelie bars or you're in an observatory situation, then we could talk about, a nice equatorial mount that could kind of do the thing for you, because you're never moving it. But when you need to be mobile, that's the biggest thing with harmonic mounts, because the weight of the mount itself is so small compared to the equatorial version of the similar payload amount. It's
Yep.
it's so different, and it's just a lot more mobile to me. That would be the biggest selling point.
Think about the humble.
ODK 12 weighs 42 pounds.
Thank you.
Oh, you see, my 14's bigger than that.
Mm.
But think about the humble ant. You know, the little tiny ant. It can carry what, 10 times its
Something
body
like that.
weight,
Yep.
20 times its body weight. That's kind of like what the harmonic mount is. You know, it can move tremendous amounts of weight in comparison. You know, you look on my channel and look at some of the shorts that I did and look at that. Even though the RST 300 is a big harmonic mount, it's tiny compared to that freaking C14.
Oh yeah.
It almost looks comical.
You remember what was it? Major League, the movie.
Yeah.
Joe Boo with his little toothpick bat.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
That's what it was. I mean, you know,
Yeah. But that doesn't negate its ability. It moved all of that weight effortlessly. It's just the torque and the power that thing puts out is phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, Steve, you're exactly right. A lot of people, everybody, I don't think anybody first starting out is thinking observatory situation. Most people are
No.
dragging their stuff out every day, every night, setting up,
Whenever
going through the
possible, yeah.
rigmarole, learning that they don't want to do that anymore eventually. You know, but most people are. And, you know, that's another reason why, you know, harmonic mounts is a little bit more attractive to me for a beginner because it's
Yep.
not heavy. You could grow with it. They're relatively inexpensive based on what you're getting. You know, you could get kind of crazy with harmonic mounts. I mean, Scott's is $9,000. You know, but you know, harmonic mounts for beginners, 15, 16, 1700 bucks. You're in. You
Yep.
know, and you're able to grow with that. You could take you could take a nice Newt, you could take a small Schmidt, you could take a nice refractor up to probably that 3 or 4 inches. You know,
Yeah.
so you could do your little guiding, you could do your little guy, you could do a 180, you could do your DSLR, you could do whatever you want. But you'll be able to grow with it, and that's the whole thing about it. So once you're in with that harmonic kind of mount, I think it's less of a chore to actually bring the stuff out every night. I remember.
Oh, that's absolutely right, Dan. I mean, that if you can literally take and fold up your tripod, and sling your tripod and telescope over your shoulder and walk it back to the car. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cherry. That's very nice.
Yeah, it's not.
Even,
it's no longer what.
I was just saying, even my rig, I know Dan does still to this day probably doesn't believe me, but I timed myself once, and I was able to take from the Jeep. I had the entire rig tore down and put in the Jeep, the whole damn thing. I had the seats down, but I had the whole damn thing in the Jeep. I was able to get everything out, including the wheelie bar, everything out and set up and ready to pull or align in 20 minutes.
Oh, Scott, I forgot to tell you something. Last summer, I got a hole-in-one on the 17th at Sawgrass. It was great. I swear to God. Hey, listen, Scott's a little bit of a beast. That is not a normal setup kind of thing. Usually what happens is, at least when I was setting up my 8-inch Schmidt every day, it's a 45-minute, to an hour kind of thing with the computer and the wires and blah, blah, blah. Now it's a little bit easier because either ASI Air, Stellarmate, Stellar, the Astro Station, all these things, Gaius and Melees and all these little computers, You don't have to worry about a laptop and a USB hub and all this other crap that you got to. It's a lot easier.
Everything's
now.
hooked up. You just turn everything on. And,
put the USBs in there, turn on, and then plate solve and pull
that's
the
part
line.
of that. That's part of the reason why I'm able to set it up as quick as I am, is that I do use an Eagle.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, back then when it took me an hour to set up, I was on a Dell laptop.
Yeah, exactly.
There was no Eagle. There was no other that there was a lot of nothing, a lot of torture and a lot of torment, and that's what it was. Thank God I just don't have to listen to Guide Dog anymore. Woof.
Guide Dog.
Woof. Every time it lost the guide star, woof.
But the bong from PhD2's.
I turn that shit off. I can't.
I do. I turn it off.
Oh,
I can't.
turn that off.
I forgot to turn it off the other night at the Starfront scope. I guess I was playing around and I turned it on. Whatever. I hear it upstairs, and it's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, bong, bong, bong. But best mount investment for beginners is a Harnick mount with a 50-pound rating. It could be your forever mount. Yeah,
it could be. Yep.
Yeah, as long as you don't go, big, real big.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So
I mean, I wouldn't put an 11. I wouldn't put an 11, a fully loaded 11 on that. You're going to be.
No, you can put it on it, no problem. Although, Eric's going to put his 11 on that 150 he got.
Is that a 50-pound rate?
Yeah, he's got the counterweight too. It's like more than that. It's like 62
counterweight.
Yeah, okay,
it's
62.
Like 40, it's like, yeah, with the counterweights, he can hold up to 60-something pounds.
He's got, on the counterweight on a harmonic drive is different than it is on a worm drive. It's just different. You don't need nearly as much weight. You just don't.
I'm sorry.
I am going to do.
It's 55 pounds with the counterweight.
55.
55 with the counterweight.
Yeah, 55 with the counterweight.
So, and I think he said his telescope and everything with all the accessories is like 48.
40. No, I thought it was low 40s. No,
it was like 47 or something.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, didn't Richard Wright have an 11 on a 150, or was that a 9.25? I don't remember.
Might have been.
He did it at Summer Star Party, not Summer Star, Winter Star Party. Last year he did a video on Facebook. I'll have to look and see. It's kind of scared the crap out of me.
What does the 11 weigh native?
The 11 was it 28?
Oh man,
itself, at least very close to 30.
I think it's 28.
Yeah, the 14 is. I'm pretty sure the 14 is 46 native. With just as no reducer, no nothing, just the scope.
Yeah, 11 edge is 28. I was right. Yeah.
The 14, I believe, is 46.
You're probably right.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as entry level scopes and things like that go, you're going to be hard pressed to find something more attractive and more user friendly than a harmonic mount. You just, the ease of compatibility, the ease of portability, the power that you get out of it, the size, it's just going to be tough to beat. Your
guiding results are great.
Yeah, exactly. And unless you are just, a burly sumbitch, and you want to haul an EQ6 into the field every night.
Or an EQ8.
Oh, well, yeah, exactly. 60-pound mount.
Hell no.
Hell no,
and
it's right.
you know,
My EQ6 is probably put together close to 70 pounds.
yeah. So I mean, that or a 20-pound, 25-pound. Well, they're not even that heavy. You know, um, I
Yeah.
think I think that the RST 300 is 13 kilos, something like that.
Yeah.
And that's a big harmonic mount. So, but you get like what Eric's got, that 150.
Yeah, or like what
That
I
thing,
have, the WD-20. The
exactly. You
WD-20
can palm that
holds it
sucker.
together.
Yeah, you can one hand that, There's no way in hell you're going to do that with an EQ6. Not unless you're stupid.
No.
You're going to want it.
It's got a big hefty handle on it, which is fine if
But
it's
even
a big
then, you're
head.
going
You
to
hold it
want
by
to
the
have that.
handle, but you're like lugging it.
No, you're
Yeah,
holding it on the bottom
Pretty.
and the handle. It's
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
it's too heavy. I mean,
my girl doesn't pack that much in her luggage, and her luggage is heavy enough. One hand. That EQ6.
Mitch said harmonic mounts have low payloads. Once they're reasonable, I'll look into it. Mitch, what do you? Well, you putting on those 18-inch newts isn't normal. So on
Yeah,
mounts,
right.
he's doing crazy stuff, man. But great planetary pictures. I got to tell you, great planetary pictures, man. That guy, unbelievable.
Yeah, the harmonics are not those mounts are not meant for huge telescopes. Not unless you get into something like the RST 300. But
well, not even that.
Most
They don't
smaller.
reach a weight capacity of 110. But I mean, the next one nearest to that, if I could,
Dioptron, the 69.
69, yeah, the 69. That's the one the only thing I could think of that comes close. So you need 110. Yeah. So get the EQ8, get the Mach 2. Mach 2 doesn't even have 110, but you get the EQ8. That's I love my mount. It's great.
The SEM 120.
SEM 120. Yep. Yeah, RST 300 is 9200. So
yeah.
Yeah.
That's not what I paid for it.
No. Well, you also bought it before COVID. So
that's true.
So but
thank you, Pete Myers.
The SEM 120 is a great mount, man. I installed two of them one at a school in Connecticut, I think it was, and another one in another school in Massachusetts. And let me tell you, they both work great. It was a little weird, kind of getting them balanced because it's a center balance thing. It was kind of
like
weird.
Center thing, yeah.
And not knowing Ioptron as well as I don't know them very well. Now I know them better, obviously. But the clips that they have to hold the scared. Yeah, no, well, it's not even a clutch. It's like a lock. There's locks on them that it's kind of weird. Right, Mitch? It's got those little locks on the side.
Here in and out.
And I accidentally did one of them, and the whole scope, like a 130-inch AP, is like this. So I'm like, whoa! But,
no kidding.
Yeah, everything was fine.
That'll wake you up.
Yeah, the spring-loaded lock. Yeah, yeah. See, they suck. I know they suck. Mitch, it was horrible. I'm like, what the hell is that thing? But not a fan. not a fan of them. But the SEM, that aside, the SEM 120 is an awesome mount. My friend has a CEM 120 with 5 60-millimeter scopes.
60-millimeter scopes.
5? Why 5?
One for each filter. That would be 7.
That wouldn't work. That doesn't work. Unless if you're doing solar and you're doing like CAK and S and I don't know. Why 5? It's like, why a spoon, brother?
LRGB and HA, I guess.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's all color cameras. They're all doing dual band. Who knows? LRGBHA, that's another guess. So
Yeah, the only problem with that LRGB-HA, I'm doing LRGB much shorter exposure time.
Yeah, so I would do, if I was to do anything, maybe I'd do HA03, S2, and LRGB. In another, if I do, I would do 4. I don't know, 5. I don't know, whatever. The other one for spying on the neighbor. There you go. That's awesome.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to just time it out to where your dither happens all the same. So
Have like 5 instances of Nina running. I would get so confused. I would get so confused. Everything different color. Jose Navarro, what's up? Tommy Duff. Who is Jazzy Spaz? Have any of you guys seen the Sal 33? The only thing I've seen about the Sal 33 was the Space Koala video. Seems pretty cool. But you know what? They are starting to come out with these mounts like a dime a dozen now. The Sal 33 is probably the same as the MCAM and stuff like that. There is going to be a lot of harmonic mounts coming mostly out of China that are most, if not exactly the same thing, rebranded. So, I mean, just be careful what you get. Do your due diligence, check on cloudy nights, check for reviews. Space Koala said nothing but nice things about that mount. So,
that little silver block thing?
Yep. So it's very similar looking, if I remember right, to the AM5 and AM.
Similar, yeah.
Very similar. The color is different, but it looks very similar. And I don't know. Just do yourself a favor. Just do your due diligence. Wait for some people to get it. Wait for some people to test it out and see what they say. And we'll see.
And the whole thing too is what kind of software does it use to run? The one thing about the WD-20 that kind of has it's got that
the
on step. But you know what? After using it and downloading the on step app and everything,
it's
actually very, very intuitive and very good.
Yeah, no, OnStep is not bad. It's been around forever. It just hasn't been, it's not very used in a lot of things in the US. So, but OnStep has been around for a while.
Yeah.
Oh my God, just so you know, I don't know if I said this at the beginning of the show. I am, for those of you that are interested in the Starfront data, I am in the middle of calibrating the Medusa Nebula. Just a little bit over 45 hours of data in LRGB, HA, S2, and O3. Most of that data is in the narrowband. The color stuff is just for the stars. But it looks like, it's going to start registration in a little bit. It's doing its last calibration. Now, each calibration frame, each channel to calibrate took about an average of about 30 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's almost 200 subs of each. So.
Are you dithering?
Oh yeah. Dither and drizzle. 1x drizzle. Yeah.
Okay.
So I never not drizzle.
Yeah.
I never not drizzle. I always drizzle. I don't see a point not to drizzle. It's just going to make your stars look better.
I put my, I did, like I said, I was doing the rosette and I did that, just the HA the other night. I put it together, then I did 2 times drizzle.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, the clarity is so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's, let's see, how many pixels is the
I don't even want to know.
I'll tell you. Hold on. It is. It is. 12,374 by 8,304.
Oh my God. That's
Ouch.
crazy. What is that?
But it looks really good. Here, I'll share. I'll show you. Where's shares? Yeah.
Jazzy Spaz said,
Can you see it?
Oh, hold on. Let me get a close up here. Hold on. Yeah, look at that. Yep.
If I zoom, I mean, the nice thing about it is, that scope will undersample, so you get blocky stars under regular, but 2 times drizzle, they're not blocky at all.
Yep.
Details.
Looks good, man.
Unreal.
Looks good.
And that's just the HA. I got to get a couple clear nights, and maybe then I'll be able to, do some real stuff.
Nice. Hopefully, I'll have some pictures to show on Wednesday for the Medusa, and we'll see.
We got to talk about the new Pixin site.
Yeah, we could do that. Maybe we could talk about that for Wednesday's show. Maybe.
That's what I mean for Wednesday.
Yeah. Because I know Dave was playing with it. I don't know if you've been playing with it, but
I've been using the new process, the new stretch, the multi-scale linear. Or what is it?
Yeah, the new stretch. I forgot.
Yeah, multi-scale adaptive stretch. I've been using that, and oh my God, it works so
well. And the new subframe selector as well. Is that right?
That's like a whole new. I have to.
I haven't looked at that yet either.
You have to go to Pixin site and download that new version, right? Yeah,
right.
Not just an update.
Yeah, it's not an automatic update.
It's the new Pixin site. Yeah,
that's a new version.
But to be able to set that up with your right parameters and then just dump your raw subframes in there and let it do its thing, man. I mean, versus Blink. I mean, good God.
Yeah.
I
do like to do Blink though, just to see how things came out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can still you can still go through the Blink, but I mean, to have that subframe selector, just go through based on your parameters and clean out all the ones that aren't going to be functional, man. Yep. Especially when you're dealing with mosaics where you're talking about 700 or 800 subframes, 1,000 subframes.
Yeah, but I think that you're gonna have it's gonna be a lot of trial and error with that because just for what the computer thinks and what you think is acceptable or not, maybe not on the same page. So I remember the old subframe selector, you were able to put parameters in there for whatever you wanted, like FWHM, eccentricity, signal to noise, whatever it is.
Right.
You could put it, it'll measure every picture and then it will, give you the list with an X or a check mark or whatever. And you could pick and choose. And then what I did when I did that was I would look at the ones that it X'd and see if it's acceptable to me and change the value of whatever I was measuring to match what was acceptable to me, not acceptable to the computer. You know what I mean? So, because, we can all play around with some things are acceptable to some people that some people don't want any eccentricity in the stars. But, Florax will fix that for you. So, I mean,
it will,
or at least most of it. If you got some bad, your eccentricity looks like a white line, obviously you got some tracking errors. But,
what would be nice if you could, blink through all your files, get out the ones that have the satellite trails or whatever, airplane going
clouds
through it, and then do a full batch of Florax and all those into Blu-rays and have Blu-rays do like a correct only
Yeah.
on all of them
Yeah.
before you go and stack them.
Does that add any extra noise to the picture?
That's what I was going to ask.
Blu-rays.
Yeah. When you do the correct only?
For correct only, I don't really think it does.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because it's just correcting that eccentricity of the star. It's not doing anything to the rest of the image. It's just looking at the stars, and if they're not really round, it just tweaks it down to where it rounds them all out.
Hey, Jazzy. Jazzy ordered the Aries C Pro. It's on its way. It's on its way. I'm just waiting for it. Let's see. Been trying to set up PixInsight on new PC. Won't install repository updates. Wow. That's well, I haven't done the new PixInsight yet, but I know that there are some people that had a situation with that in the prior release. I haven't heard anything with the new one yet, so gonna have to take a look on that because if better not screw up my PixInsight. That's why I'm doing all my work now. What's it? Try Verilux, new WBPP. Have you ever purchased data from the Southern Hemisphere? So the answer is yes. I did with Telescope Live a couple years back. We took donations for.
I remember that.
We called it the Southern Sky Challenge, and I still have that data. I have a bunch of data. If anybody wants some data from Southern Skies, let me know. I have so much credit down in the southern area. I definitely want to get the Dragons of Arrow just so I could get the data, just because I have lots of credit. But I have the Tarantula Nebula. I have Centaurus A, Omega Centauri, Tucanae 47. I have a couple. So if you want some, let me know.
My Karina.
Yeah, my Karina. But guys, it's 9:45. This night went quick.
Flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. And I think we more or less stayed on target. We spoke a lot about mounts for the beginning. We spoke about the ALEQ 55 from Skywatcher. We spoke about some entry-level harmonic mounts, star trackers themselves like the Star Adventurer. Then we moved on to telescopes. We spoke a little bit about the SV Bony line. Some of the entry-level
Aperture is another good line. Probably didn't talk about
for reflectors.
Aperture makes some good. Well, they make some good doublets too.
They make some good doublets as well. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We could even talk a little bit about Explore Scientific as well. They make some decent doublets and entry-level triplets. What else? And then we spoke a little bit about cameras, about what you should do as far as a camera is concerned, as far as a beginner. A lot of people brought up DSLRs and stuff that you might have in your home, starting with the DSLR camera and the camera lens with the star tracker. Absolutely is a way you could start. Also going to a nice planetary camera to start, because you could use it for double duty, because you could use that eventually when you start really getting into it and using that planetary camera for a guide camera. That will help you track the stars and correct any mount imperfections that you may have. Then we spoke about your entry-level mono and color cooled cameras like the 585s. Those seem to be one of the favorites because it's relatively inexpensive, anywhere from I think $699 to $899, depending on what you get, either mono or color or what brand. So those are definitely some of the things that you could do as far as beginners setups are concerned. Now, don't forget, we didn't really touch on this, but focusing, you could get stuff like a Batinov mask that you could do, and you could lay it on the front of your scope, and you could move the focuser manually to line up some spikes, and you could get a focus in there. There are a lot of other things. There are relatively cheap motorized focusers out there that you could get for a couple $100. I mean, it's not. There's definitely a lot of things that you could. There's a thank you. There's a little Batinov mask down there that you can put. Looks like maybe like
That doesn't fit the 14, that's for
that
sure.
definitely does
No,
not
no.
fit the 14.
That's
like an
for my
80 or
300
100.
millimeter.
Okay, 300 millimeter. Or you could get a Sesto Senso. There you go. But yeah, so that's really what we wanted to get across tonight. I think we got all of our major points in. I know Scott's yawning, I'm yawning. It's been a long day. I know Dave wants to yawn, but he won't do it.
I'm good.
Yeah, but
Still recovering from that crappy Ford.
yeah.
Don't even get me started.
What is it? The Fixer Repair Daily, right?
Where is an engineer when you need one?
With the
Ford.
plumber.
Found on road dead.
Oh, that too. It's a Fix or Repair Daily.
Yeah.
Fucked over rebuilt Dodge.
Yeah. I've never heard that one. There you go. All right. So that being said, why don't we run over the final thoughts real quick?
Well, don't.
My final thoughts. It's Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully everybody has some clear skies this weekend. It looks like I'm gonna have to wait till maybe Monday, Tuesday, but knock on wood. I had clear skies last night, but 30-mile-an-hour winds kept me from doing it. So
Yep.
that being said, clear skies to everybody.
Yep.
And keep up the good fight. We're doing well. It's a brand new year.
Yep.
See some brand new images this year. And we'll see you on Wednesday, if not on Discord.
Yep. Sounds good. Mr. Scott?
Yeah. Go set up your telescopes. Get out there and image. We're in new moon territory. Go have yourself a nice 54. Go have yourself a nice 54 ring gauge, Robusto, and a couple of fingers of single malt, and you'll be good.
There you go.
Sorry.
Your water bottle, Dave. Yeah, Dave, your water bottle is full of stars. My God, it's full of stars.
Gotta love using a green water bottle against green screen.
There are people out there that they're trying to figure out what the hell is that reference from. Yeah.
Whoa, man, look at that.
All right. Well, one last thing, a little minor. I know I probably should have said this at the beginning of the night, but I was talking to a couple of members, and some of them seemed interested in pooling together equipment and money to send a rig of undetermined size down to Starfront for another AstroWorld kind of rig, where everybody would have access to the data that puts something into it or is paying something for it. So if anybody's interested, please hit me up on Discord, hit me up on email, whatever. I already have 2 or 3 people that are interested. So depending on what we put, it could be relatively cheap, the equipment, something else. But yeah. So if anybody's interested, let me know. But that being said, I hope everybody got a little bit out of the beginner kind of rig for Deep Sky. We'll talk a little bit about software on Friday night when we talk about the new updates for PixInsight and all that. We'll get on to that on Wednesday and Friday. So
Wednesday and Friday. Okay.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. Be safe. I'm actually going to see a band called Lotus Land tomorrow night, which should be fun. Nice little
Rush. Go to a wine tasting and then out to dinner.
Rush tribute band. I'm going to go see.
Nice.
And what's even nicer, I could Uber there. So That's even nicer.
Makes it even better.
It's 20 minutes away from my house. But have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see everybody on Wednesday. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for the past hour and 50 or so minutes. And remember, as always, to keep edging, keep educating, and clear skies. And we'll see you next time. Catch you later.